All right. So recently I've been given a free PS2 Slim that was basically smashed, but I managed to restore it and recover it to the working order. And since I didn't want to spend lots of money on it to change some parts, especially the DVD drive that was bent and not working, I decided to use the already distributed exploits to play my backup DVDs from sources other than the DVD drive. Excuse me. So after I searched around a little bit, I decided on to using Funtuna or Fortuna project, which is an exploit that allows you to run games from sources other than the DVD drive. You can run games from a USB stick or network, or in some cases in the PS2 FATs, you can run games from the hard drive. All right. Since my Slim wasn't doesn't have any hard drives, I tried using the USB or the network method. The reason why I'm making this video is after I installed the Funtuna project on my PS2, I was having issues with the OPL corrupting my memory card, and basically after I was saving the settings or launching any game, my PS2 was becoming unexploited. So it was basically corrupting my memory card, which was restricting me from launching my games from the USB or the network. Basically, it was resetting my PS2 to the original unexploited version of the PS2, which you can't run games from other than the DVD drive. What I come up with was the reason for that was the PS2 checks the exploited bootable file based on the order of the date it was created. So let's imagine if I create the exploited free mcboot or the Funtuna project file on my memory card, which allows me to boot backup games, let's say today. All right, if I then come to my PS2 tomorrow and make another file in the memory card, either by saving a normally played game or making some changes in the existing software, what was happening was that the PS2 was reading the latest file created on the memory card, and in most of the cases the latest file created was not the bootable free mcboot or the Funtuna project, so I wasn't able to exploit the PS2 anymore. All right, that is the cause of the problem. So let's talk about how I managed to fix that problem. I will explain what you have to do in very simple steps. You have to do these steps basically to the word to be able to fix that. All right, what you're gonna need is a working PS2 and some way to run ulaunch.elf. Now ulaunch.elf is a basic program, a basic file explorer program that allows you to copy and paste files to the memory card. All right, you can do that with another ps2. You can do that inside the Fantuna project, but if you don't have if you don't have access to any other ps2s, exploited ones, you can use a method called free DVD boot that allows you to boot from a special DVD that is created on your PC and copy the files required on your memory card. All right, after you've done that, which there are many tutorials online, you can check them out, but I won't go to detail on that. What you want to do is, after you boot into the ulaunch elf, which is that basic file explorer, you need to prepare your memory card by deleting all the files inside. All right, you need to have a flash drive which contains the program you want to use. In my case, it was Fantuna and the latest version of OPL. All right, and also you need a working controller. All right, first step is to unplug the memory card and take out the DVD and turn on your ps2. All right, you will enter a simple menu which contains a simple browser and system configurations. Then you go into the system configurations and change the date to 2050 or some high number like that. That will become clear why we do that. All right, make sure that after changing the date, you restart your console and make sure that the date is stayed at what you've been set. For example, after you reboot, if it doesn't say 2050, then you might have a bad backup battery in your system, and you may need to change that. All right, the step 2 is, after changing the date, you need to boot into the ulaunch elf, which is that file explorer we talked about. All right, and follow the normal steps to installing whichever exploit you want to install on your memory card. For example, if you want to install Fantuna or Fortuna project, you just basically search online how to install Fantuna project on your ps2. All right, now after you install that exploit, all right, you turn off your ps2 and take out the memory card, take out the DVD again, and go to the system configuration and change the date to 1 or 2 years after the date you've been selected before. For example, if you selected 2050, you may now select 2049, 48, or whatever. All right, then you save that settings and turn off your ps2. Then you insert your memory card again into the ps2 and boot into the exploit you've installed, which may contain OPL or Fantuna or whatever. Just follow the instructions for that specific exploit and just go inside there. All right, after you made sure it was correctly installed and you see the menu structures and stuff, you open up OPL. All right, after you opened up OPL, basically now what you have to do is create a configuration settings file for the OPL. How you may do that is by basically changing a value in settings That might be HDD boot settings or SMB boot settings or whatever, menu settings, whatever you want. All right, then save that settings to OPL. All right, and make sure that it took around 3 seconds or more to save those settings, because sometimes, because there is a bug in the OPL, and sometimes what happens is you select the save settings function, select the save settings, and it doesn't save. It just shows up instantly that settings were saved, which is a bug, and basically it doesn't save anything. All right, after you made sure that your settings have been changed, you're good to go. All right, you don't have to do anything more. You can just basically configure your SMB or your your flash drive and play games normally. All right, now any other save files that your games have created after that should be fine. All right, in theory, all the files that you write on the memory card after you change the date code to the 2049 or 48 or whatever, those will sort under the main booting file, and the PS2 always will boot into the exploited boot file. So that's how I fixed my OPL, which I was having a lot of problem. And the reason I'm making this video is I didn't I didn't see any other people having this problem and mentioning a fix. I even tried booting into different versions of OPL. In the end, it was the date code that for some reason it wasn't compensated in the code, and I hope that it will solve your problem too. All right, with that, thanks for watching.